Alsace zou worden gepleegd op Amerikaanse basis.
Hello. I need to tell you about sort of the last few days, especially last night. But before that, I'm not going to do that now. Maybe later, maybe not even tonight, we'll see. I just want to be real honest with you guys because I'm struggling. I've had the most, oh my goodness. I've had the most wonderful few weeks with my family. Nope. And I've just had to say goodbye, hence all this, to the last one. And as you may know by now, I'm not a huge fan of goodbyes. I am so grateful. I am so grateful for my relationship with my parents and my siblings and just the whole family as we are together. I know how lucky I am to have that. I know that we are not necessarily like all families. In fact, we're probably not like most. And so I certainly don't want to imply that, you know, I don't know what, my brain's not working. But I do just want to show you all that as much as I have the wonderful times and, you know, just get spoiled rotten and living life to its fullest, there's always the come down and the goodbye. And I hate it. And I struggle with it. And yeah, it's just the worst. That's not true. It's not true. I'm so lucky. What's the quote? How lucky am I to have, that's not happening. How lucky am I to have, I don't even know the quote, to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard, something along those lines. Nope. And that is truly how I feel. But I wish I didn't have to say goodbye. I'm gonna leave it here because I'm not gonna get through anything more, and I'll see you in a bit. Sorry, I don't know what this clip was, but I just wanted to be honest with you guys about all this. I will see you later. Okay, it's been like an hour. I've had some time to you know when you cry and then you get the calm after? I'm at that. I'm at the calm after, a bit tired just from being emotional. I'm probably still not, I know I'm still not great, but we're a little bit more West End Live was wonderful. It was quite warm, but it wasn't as warm as the Saturday, so that's good. I didn't go on the Saturday, obviously, but I heard and I felt how warm it was, so I'm very glad it wasn't as bad as that. My parents asked me afterwards, having seen, you know, this collection of shows, what do you feel now is at the top of your list? And even though this has been very near the top of my list for years, it's definitely brought Six back up to the top because I really want to see it. I can't believe I haven't. And it's just so good. It's so good. So that's definitely very high on my list. I'm curious about the Frogs, but it closes on Saturday, so we'll see if I can get to it. Someone was giving away really cheap tickets for tonight, but I couldn't make it because I was saying goodbye to my father and also because I'm an emotional wreck. It wasn't gonna happen. And also by the time they responded, I was like, I don't think it's gonna be I won't get there on time, which is a shame. But hopefully either tomorrow or the day after, fingers crossed, someone somewhere is giving away a ticket or selling cheaply-ish. Another one that I'm very curious about is This Is My Family. I feel like that's sort of gonna be a bit like Dear Evan Hansen, Next to Normal, that kind of vein. And I love those musicals. I feel like those may be the top 3. Also The Lion King. I've seen The Lion King, but I think I last saw it in like 2008 maybe? And that was the only time I'd seen it, so it's definitely kind of got me wanting to see it again. But yeah, that was wonderful. And then we went to a family it was a birthday party, but it was no one's real birthday. It was just sort of a celebration of everyone being together. And it was wonderful. It was so, so lovely. But, and this is no one's fault, except my own. My mum left, supposedly, last night. I'll get back on the supposedly soon. No, that's not true. She was leaving Monday morning, but I wouldn't see her again. And so from sort of getting back from West End Live until the end of the party, I was in that sort of sad, anticipatory, emotional state. So I did really enjoy it, but there was just that niggling in the back of my mind, and then I actually had to say goodbye to her, and my sister, which was just not much fun. And then on Monday I worked, and then in the evening, after work, I met up with my father in town because we were going to go see a show. We were going to see Just for One Day, which we did, and I'll come back to that. And he'd been wherever he'd been, and on his way to the theatre he'd passed an Indian restaurant that he said looked quite good, and we both like Indian food, so we said we'd go there. And we had the food, and it was very good, although quite spicy. And I'd asked them to make it as mild as possible, and it was still very spicy by my standards. And we connect to the Wi-Fi there, and we both sort of react because we get a message from my mum who's on the plane. Now I know some airlines nowadays do offer free Wi-Fi for sort of half an hour or whatever it is. So I was a bit like, oh, that's strange, but okay. And then I opened the message. We opened the message. We've been redirected back to Heathrow. And this was like 45 minutes before the show started, and we're in the middle of eating. So we both sort of froze and weren't quite sure. I mean, there's nothing you can do in that situation, right? Like, it's just happening. You just have to accept it. But it was certainly not the news we were expecting. And I was like, well, I just did this whole tearful goodbye, and now I might be seeing them again. This isn't fair. But anyway, we go see the show, and by the time we finish, I think they'd landed back at Heathrow, but they hadn't sorted out yet what was going to happen. And I didn't know anything. Long story short, they've left sort of a couple of hours ago now, and I didn't get to see them again, which I do think is a shame. I really would have liked to see them again, but it's very annoying for them, obviously. But anyway, the show, Just for One Day, I didn't have a huge interest in this sort of on the surface. It's not one I would have gone to see on my own unless someone was giving away free tickets, but I have heard good things, and I know about the Live Aid concert, of course. And especially for my father, it was even more prominent, obviously. So he was interested in it, I was happy to go see it, and we did. We had amazing seats, we got rush tickets, and honestly, the seats were phenomenal. The singing was incredible. The story was more comedic than I was expecting, which I enjoyed. I like it when things are funny, and especially when my emotions are a bit shaky, because bear in mind, I'd said goodbye to my mum. I was quite sad most of Monday, also knowing that I was gonna have to say goodbye to my father. Like, there was just a lot happening, and then that they were coming back, like, there was a lot going on. But it was interesting because I would say it was funny, and it was mostly light-hearted, but obviously it still does have a lot of hard-hitting things that it discusses and shows. But I did really enjoy it. I really enjoyed sort of finding out more about how it was developed and everything, because I didn't know any of that history or sort of any of it. I think the ensemble, the dancers individually were clearly very strong, but I don't know what happened or if this was intentional, but as a collective, they did not look cohesive. And I don't even feel I can pinpoint that on one specific person. It just was I don't know, it was like everyone was slightly out of time with each other or just in a slightly different position, or one was giving way more energy than another. I don't know, it was just overall, they weren't an ensemble to me. But individually, they were all great. I thought it was a really, really good cast. Although there was one actor who was more of a lead role than ensemble, but still participated. I think they all participated in just about every number. But they were noticeable in the sense of giving so much less energy when they were dancing than everyone else. And I did think that was a shame, and it was something that I picked up on. I don't know if anyone else did. I didn't discuss it with my father. I don't even know if he noticed, but I just kept being drawn towards this person in a way that I didn't want to be. But overall, I did enjoy it. It was fun. It wasn't the best musical I've ever seen, but it was good. I really enjoyed it. And then this morning I worked and then said goodbye to my father, which was not fun. But I'm working quite a bit this week, so that will keep me occupied. And then on top of that, I really need to get back into running because I've not run in weeks. And like, we're only about 2 months away from the half marathon, which is terrifying. Terrifying. But tonight, I'm gonna try and meal prep some stuff for the rest of the week, and I'm gonna try and edit a bit more. And then when Wayne comes home in a couple of hours, I hope that we'll be able to just watch something, maybe Taskmaster or something light-hearted. And I'm gonna try and just be gentle with myself, because I'm definitely still a little bit rocky. But I'm gonna leave it here, and I will speak to you whenever I speak to you next. Bye. Hello. Wow, I look glistening and pink and everything. It's very warm. It's the end of another week. I feel like the week with my parents being here flew by, and then the week since they've left has also flown by. Admittedly, it hasn't been a full week, and oh my gosh, their leaving was a little bit extended due to circumstances outside of our control. Not that I minded, obviously. So it has actually only been a couple of days since they left, but still it feels it's been so go, go, go since they left. It was really like immediately back to real life. I do think I spoke about that on here. And it was just like work, babysitting, work, long run, work, Shabbat. But I've got very little planned for tomorrow. I am going to my grandma's for lunch and that's it. I think I've sort of decided I'm not going to go to shul. Usually I like to, which is synagogue, but I would like to not have to wake up early. And then on Sunday, I thought I was going to have a really long day because I start one job at 9 and I finish the other job at 9. I do have a 3-hour break between the two, but also commuting and whatnot. I just thought it was going to be a very, very long day, and it still will be, but I just heard today from my boss that I can do the morning job from home, which is wonderful. I am very happy about that. That was really great news. And it's funny because I do quite a lot of Sundays at this job, and I think I've done some from home, but I do think I've gone in for a few of them. And realistically, at the moment, there's not really much need to. So maybe most Sundays can be working from home, which would be so lovely. But I do feel really good. I think it's this top. I'm wearing this top with leggings, and I don't know, there's something about it that's just put me in a good mood. My hair is clean as well. Like, I feel good. I bought some flowers for my grandma. I always do. And look at the size of these. Like, I walked up to them curious about them, and then I saw the price and they were on the cheaper end, and I was like, brilliant, I'm definitely taking these. They are so curious. I think they're called like granolias or something. That doesn't sound right having said it out loud, but I'm very curious about them. They're very pretty. I did think about getting some for home because we don't have any flowers at the moment. Well, we've got the ones that are somewhat doing their best and somewhat dying. But I think I'm gonna leave it for today, and then I'll discuss it with Wayne because he's coming in tomorrow. What am I talking about? He's home tomorrow. He's got a day off, which is so rare. It's so rare for him to have a Saturday off. And Saturdays are always my day off, so I'm very excited about it. So I'll talk to him because I think he's moved the Winnie the Pooh jug that we've been using as a vase. So I'm gonna ask him where it is and if he's happy for us to get some flowers. Not that I need his permission, for the record. Now, I have come home in a good mood, and I do feel like it's quite warm, which I don't like, but I feel not tired, which is good. I don't feel like today was a manic day at work. There was so much to do, and I genuinely didn't think I would get it done by 5, but I did, which is great. But I've come home, and I'm looking around, and there's quite a lot to do. Actually, not a lot of it is need to do, especially because a lot of the cleaning things I can leave for tomorrow, and Wayne and I can do it together. But there's a couple of things, I would say there's 2 things I need to do in the house and for both of us. And then there's a handful of things I would love to try and get done before Shabbat, but very unlikely because I've got about just under 2 hours, I think, until I need to go. And I just don't think it's realistic that I'm gonna get it all done. So the two things I need to get done are the dishes, again, as always, and the laundry. And then everything else should be all right. I spoke to you guys on Tuesday night. I think I spoke to you twice maybe, and I was not at my happiest. It was when my father left, so I was a little bit down and emotional. And I can't remember why I asked Wayne to get me something from the shops, and I can't remember what I asked him. It might have been like milk or something. No, it wasn't milk. Cereal maybe? But why didn't I get it? I went to the shops. I don't know, there was something I wanted him to get, and so he went to the shops and he came home with 2 bags of these, and I was just like, yes, that is exactly what I need. These are so good. I think I've spoken about them before. They're Belgian chocolate shortbread. They're so, so good. And we love to see things reduced. We love that. I only said that because that was in front of me. I don't really have a point. I'm gonna do these 2 things and then I will see if I can get round to the computer related things. I need to edit my May favourites because that is going up on Sunday and it's not been edited. And I would love to read more of my book. I'm really, really enjoying my book, but equally that is definitely a Shabbat activity. I can absolutely do that tomorrow and maybe even finish it tomorrow. That would be nice. Right. Oh, I went on a long run yesterday and I was going to talk to you guys about that in my running video and I was going to film that now. Maybe I will get started on these 2 things, then film that, and then see if I've got time for anything else. Okay, I will probably maybe see you before I go, but otherwise not for a while. And on that very conclusive note, bye! Hello, I've just walked in, but look what I've got. Dun, da, 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 da. I'm so glad we've needed this for a long time, and I'll show you why we need it. Have a look. That's the temperature inside our flat. What fun. I've made a list of things I want to do today. I've got sort of a couple of hours, well, I've got many hours, it's almost 6, and I've got no other plans today. I did theoretically plan to go for a run, but it's very, very, very hot out. It's like 33 degrees, so not gonna do that. I was watching the tennis, and I was feeling very sorry for them. I'm just gonna see, it probably has finished by now, but I'm gonna see if the match is still going, and if not, I'm sure the next match will be on. So I'm gonna unpack the fan first, I think, and drink some water or something, and then we will see how we get on with everything. What fun. It is too warm. Hello. Almost as soon as I finished that clip, I got into my pajamas because it's too warm. I've got the fan working. It's not, I think, as it should be set up, but it does the job for now, and when Wayne comes home, I'll let him play around with it, and I'm so grateful for it. It is making such a difference. The tennis ended up going on a lot longer than I thought it would, so I was very glad to watch the end of it. There are still 2 more matches that I would like to watch. Actually 3, but they're not showing one of them, which is so annoying. But I'm not as desperate, especially now, because it only just started one of them, so it's not urgent. So I think while I've got the energy, because I got home and because of the heat, I was just like so done. And especially while I was trying to set up the fan, I was dripping sweat. But I think I'm going to get started on maybe, I don't know if it's supper, but it's definitely going to be my meal prep for the next few days. And if I have enough, I might have it for supper as well. But I've got a big issue because I've got 9 minutes left on my SD card of filming space and I have no space left on my computer. So I really need to get on to editing. And as a result, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to film much of my cooking tonight. I'm gonna try a new recipe. I bought curry powder for it, so I'll let you know how it goes, but I don't think I'll be able to film like all the steps as I usually like to do. So I'm gonna get started on that, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye! In case anyone ever wonders how I press my tofu, this is how. Hello, it's 10 o'clock. And I feel like today has just slipped away from me. I felt like I had so much time when I came home and I just don't know where it's gone. I've done some stuff, but definitely not as much as I was hoping to do. I do think the heat is just killer for me, even though I've got the fan now, which thank goodness, but even then, it's not enough. And when it's warm, I just don't want to move. Even eating supper felt like such an effort. I've been making this dish, and I more or less followed the recipe, but made some adjustments based on what I did and didn't have and sort of whatever. And at one point you have to let it simmer, and so I did that. And then when I went back to it after that time, the smell that came out of it, I'm gonna toot my own horn here, was amazing. I don't know what it's gonna taste like, but if it's anything like the smell, which you would hope it is, that's gonna be incredible. It's so good. And it reminds me of a tofu dish, a smoked tofu dish. I think they had it on the ship. I'm trying to remember where I ate it, but I think it was on the ship. That would make the most sense to me. And it smells exactly like it. And I'm so happy about that. I'm so happy. That being said, I started making this probably, I can't even remember what time. But as I say, it's now 10 o'clock. It's definitely been at least 2 hours and it's still cooking. Do you know why? Because the sweet potato and the lentils aren't fully cooked. And I should have seen this coming. I actually read the comments of the recipe and people were saying it's not fully cooked. But I was just like, mine will be different. It's not. So I've constantly been adding more water. I now also just added some yogurt because I'm not using coconut milk and I thought it's something else that can sort of act as a liquid or whatever. And I've turned the heat up. I was trying to let it simmer for longer and hope that that worked, and I put a lid on and everything and it just wasn't doing it. So I'm now just going to try and boil the lentils so that they're ready. And also because I've now got too much liquid, I want it to become a bit more creamy and everything and thick. So I'm hoping that won't take too long. It's very warm. I think that's another reason. I mean, it's warm anyway, but I do think that's making it worse. So I'm hoping to get that done, you know, in the next, I hope 15 minutes, but we'll see. I'm really trying to sort out space. I've now got 40 minutes on this camera, so I've done something, but the computer's the real issue. So I need to try and play around with that and try and organize. I need to edit the cost video now, which obviously you would have seen already, but as of when I'm filming this, I haven't even started on. And the problem with this one is that I've got clips from different people that I'm using as well as my own. And so I think I'm going to organize it by day and just work through one day at a time, because otherwise it's going to feel too much. And that's my problem with these big videos, is that I don't start them because they just feel like way too long a task. It's going to take me hours to do and I'm just like, I don't have the time for it. Whereas if I pick at it and do one day at a time, that definitely feels a lot more manageable. So I'm just going to sort tonight. I'm not going to do anything else, but I do have a couple of free nights this week where hopefully I can work through it. I did also want to film another video, but again, there's loads of stuff I want to film, but I can't because I don't have enough space on my camera or my computer. So that's how I'm feeling. I don't know if I'll see you again tonight, but I will see you soon, I'm sure. In fact, tomorrow night, Wayne and I are hoping to go to a show, so I'm sure I'll take you with me if that happens. All right, until then. Yay. I'm not sure it's meant to be joyful. I heard it was going to be quite sad.
On your camera.
Yeah, what do you think?
I thought you meant like joyful.
No, of the show.
Confirmation, yes.
I was like, there were no kids in the cast.
It wasn't.
Yeah.